about a professional partner to handle your children's international school application? Are you considering applying for foundation and pathway programs, GSCEs and A-level programs, undergraduate programs, postgraduate and MBA? Trusted Edge Education Service is your plug. At CEE, we pride ourselves in value-adding services that help you secure your future and fast-track your career seamlessly. We have a track record of success that gives confidence in our services. Let us help you gain admission and visa to your choice destination. Our goal is to make international school application from start to finish a seamless and enjoyable experience. Because of our partnership with prestigious schools in the United Kingdom, Ireland, Canada, Australia, and United States, you are in good hands and are assured of success. Our services include application and admission processing, school placement and enrollment, visa application, career advisory and counseling, scholarship opportunities, and review and improvement of candidates' personal documents. To make the right choice and give your children the international learning experience, please call 070-504-15550 or email us at education@trustededgeconsult.com. Trusted Edge Consult, the perfect.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on our payment seminar this morning. My name is Lukman Yusuf from Trusted Edge, as you all know. I'll just be taking you through a brief introduction slide on the agendas for today. All right. Hope everyone can see me. Yes, like I said, my name is Lukman Yusuf from Trusted Edge Consult. I'll be taking you through a brief introduction on the payment seminar that we have for today. We have some of our facilitators already on board. So without wasting so much time, we can start. So basically, the payment seminar is going to tackle so many issues regarding foreign payments from visa, payment of visa, also IHS, and other questions that our participants may or may not have. Now, so just going through some of the ground rules. I encourage everyone to participate, as it will be a very interactive session. Be confident in yourself, ask questions where you feel like you need to ask questions, seek advice where you feel like you need to seek some advice. Ensure your mobile phones and devices are on silent or turned off to avoid distractions. Yeah, ask questions and participate. So I think I've introduced myself. My name is Lukman again, once again from TEC Trusted Consult. We have Mr. Adetunji Lamije here with us, also Mr. Israel as well from Union Bank. Right? We also have Mr. Olabode Peter Afolayan. We have Mr. Fidelis as well. So our facilitators are already around and awaiting the commencement of this program. A survey will be sent at the end of the program for our participants to fill. Let us know your feedbacks, how you felt the program went, basically, and we'd like to have that feedback for future subsequent programs that we'll be having. Okay, so without further wasting of time, we'll go to our first facilitator, Mr. Adetunji, who will be speaking on deposit payments, Form A, and major requirements for those deposit payments.
All right, thank you very much, everyone. And Lukman, thanks for inviting me. And to the Trusted Jet Educational System team, I'd say well done for the good work you guys have been doing. My name is Adetunji Lamidi, and I work with First Monument Bank as Vice President and Group Head of Financial Inclusion. The area you asked me to speak to is to kind of throw more lights on the payment system that is required for studying abroad and also catering for school fees payments. So I'll quickly try to at least delve into it. Specifically, a lot of people have actually been struggling, in meeting their obligations as regards application for schools abroad, and now they can actually get necessary funding. We have seen cases where parents have actually been struggling towards getting money from black markets and also in order to pay school fees, and that thereby having to pay monumental amount or even selling properties. Meanwhile, CBN had actually created a window, where people can kind of pay directly by just opening a Form A. And I'll quickly run through the approach. Specifically, when a student wants to, study abroad and you actually gain admission, what is expected is that the student or sponsor will be expected to maintain an account in a bank. So it's always important. If you don't have something, a relationship, you can't jump into any bank and say you need support. They won't answer you. So we are expected to have actually maintained an account. There are some banks that will expect you to have a current account. A bank like ours will also agree to a savings account. But this relationship must have been there for the past 6 months minimum. You can't open an account today and expect the bank to give you a Form A approval, because they have so many huge customers that have been there for years. So they won't now jump ship and say, okay, you that came yesterday or day before yesterday, you are the one they are going to sell Form M to, or allowed to pay to buy your fund or pay school fees directly from the bank. So the second point is, the student is also expected to have obtained the admission letter, then international passport, and also copy of their study visa. The other supporting documents also should be gathered for uploading on the CBN platform. Before now, people just walk into the bank and then use moral suasion or trying to talk to people they know to help them with this, payment. But now, CBN has actually made it very strict that every payment must go through a portal. And this is the Form A portal. It's the portal is known as www.tradesystem.gov.ng, and it goes straight directly to the repository of CBN, who will now approve and pass it to the corresponding bank to process. So once this has been done and the students create their profile on this trade system portal, then a mail will be sent directly to validate the account, and a code will be generated to the email account registered with the profile. Then on the home page, you have to select Form A and start the application. Once you've done that, then you follow the process to populate the necessary information. After which, at least you're expected to now click education fee under the trade category. Then you go ahead and process and download everything that is expected. And then you click yes under the value for forex, and you populate for beneficiary information, which is the school detail for school fees or student details for upkeep. Then once you enter the bank offshore account for the corresponding bank where the money is going to, then automatically everything goes on this page. When this is done, then you're also expected to move to the next page where the local bank will be selected, and the branch of choice where your transaction will be consummated will be chosen. Then the mode of payment will either be SWIFT or through Telex. Then the next stage is to move to the document upload. That's when you now upload all your documents. Then you preview the form to also review whether you have not made any mistakes. Once this is done, then you download the form with all the supporting documents uploaded on the platform, and you take it directly to the bank for approval. So the bank that you have chosen will now validate. Then the bank will now put the applicant on the queue. It's important to note that you are expected to give a window of 14 to 16 weeks for all these, transactions to be consummated and approved. That's the standard, time allotted for Form A processing, because there are lots of people, like I said, as people are processing school fees for undergraduate degree, they're also processing for postgraduate, they are processing for medical, they are processing for trade, all those things. So definitely the traffic is usually very huge. That's why it's advisable and expected that you should give ample time. Then you are expected to repeat the same process for maintenance and upkeep allowance, because CBN also do allow that upkeep allowance between $1,500 to $2,000 is allowed. And this is actually dependent on banks. Some banks allow to give you up to $3,000, but some banks, they limit their own to $1,500 because of their huge influx of requests from their customers. Also note to carry out due diligence on the bank selling school fees and maintenance fee before you upload your application on the portal. Like I said, if you know you don't have a relationship with the bank and you go and pick that bank, you are ordinarily going to BOYO on your own because the bank will not attend to you. It is the bank where you have relationship that you can actually walk into and they will listen to you and want to help you out. So also you should know that you have to submit early and you can always cancel erroneous application on the portal and reconsummate it again. Then applications are treated on a first come and first served basis. So that fundamentally explains, how this process is run. Then you can be able to pay school fees up to the maximum amount of $15,000, or less. So that is allowed. Anything above that, CBN will not approve, and then you may need to source for your foreign currency, elsewhere. So I think that basically is the process of at least, getting, direct purchase of a forex to fund education, from the bank as allowed by the CBN. It is possible, it is doable. People do not necessarily need to go sacrifice their hard-earned money in the black market where they will buy dollars for about 700 naira to a dollar, or buy pounds for almost 850 naira to a pound. But what is critical is you must have had a relationship with a bank up to 6 months before you can actually more or less be respected and be accepted to come to them to seek for this help. Thank you very much. I hope I'm able to do justice to the topic.
Thank you, Mr. Lamidi. We really appreciate your presentation. So next we'll be having Mr. Olabode Peter Afolayan. Are you there, Mr. Olabode? Mr. Olabode? Okay, Mr. Olabode is right here with us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So he's going to be taking us on visa and IHS payments. Visa and IHS payments.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Olabode Afolayan, as introduced. For your visa and IHS payments, there are several ways that you can make the payment, but typically they would ask you for payment through credit card or sometimes a debit card. What we try and do for people is to get individuals or BDCs who have access to credit cards, sometimes overseas, sometimes here locally. At other times, you may be able to do a bank transfer, but you need to take cognizance of the fact that for bank transfers, it will probably take another 3 to 5 working days before your payment reflects at whatever institution it is that you're making the payment to. Then there will also be charges, of course, unlike when you use your credit or debit card. Aside from that, you also need to talk to your school as well, because at times some credit cards may actually be declined because of where the payment is being made from, or they expect that it will be the student or someone that is a sponsor, so to speak, for the student that would make the payment. Now, for those who want to try and make payments using going through the banks, where you have forms for school fees payments, I would advise you start the process early, because as you know right now there's a bit of would I say scarcity in the market. So it's best you start the process early, if possible, 3 months before school will be resuming, or you get a deadline. You ask your school for a deadline uh, for when you need to, the last date for making payments. So you start the process early, apply through your bank. It's best to go through a bank that you've been using before, where you probably have a relationship, so that they would put you through on time. And then for that as well, as I said before, you be charged, so you need to take cognizance of that. I think those are the key things that you really need to take note of.
Thank you so much, Mr. Olabode. We really appreciate you. And okay, please note your questions. We'll be taking questions anytime from now. So we have Mr. Fidelis Okave next. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is Fidelis Okave. Can you hear me? Hello? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Good. Okay. My name is Fidelis Okave, and I'm actually from Trust Microfinance Bank, and currently I'm in a meeting, and my colleague will be the one to talk about the POF. His name is Tammy, and I believe he also knows more about proof of fund. So Mr. Dami will be able to take over this meeting right now. So I'm sorry for not being available, and that's why I had to inform my colleague about this. So Mr. Dami, can you just take over the meeting, please?
Okay, good morning, everyone. It's nice being on the platform here. And on a quick one, I'm going to be discussing about proof of funds. As we all know, that is a very key factor when it comes to our immigration plans as regards students. And due to the economy that we find ourselves in Nigeria, not every one of us would have that amount of money in our accounts just sitting idle, such that we might be able to use that to convince the embassy that we are financially stable or financially eligible to be given a visa. And I know one of the random questions that students usually have is how they calculate the expected amount that is supposed to be in their accounts and how to go about it. There are quite a number of people too that they've been a victim of fraud, whereby they pay to some people to do that for them and it doesn't work for them. And there are people who would say that they're going to give them some form of accounts that they will present at the embassy. You know, the story goes on. But over here, what we majorly do is this. We create an account for you, a proper savings account that is accepted and recognized by any of the embassies all over the country. Most importantly, the UKVI. We're into partnerships with some major commercial banks in Nigeria, which includes the likes of Wema Bank and Providence Bank, Access Bank, Globus Bank, SunTrust Bank, and the likes of it, where we have a recognized partnership with them, such that it makes the visa process for you safe and meets the required standards. So like I was explaining before, the requirements are pretty simple, just like if you would like to open any of your normal savings accounts, whereby you will be needing a valid ID card, a recent utility bill, and a passport photograph. It's as simple as that. You provide any of those things alongside filling of the account opening form. We open the account for you in your name with your details and the mandate being yours, such that you know that this account is legit and we do not have an access or a control over that account.
And aside that too, just to show that we are so much concerned about this, we would also be needing your school offer letter so that we know that truthfully you intend traveling, or you just don't want to, we just don't want to put money into people's account who end up using it for dubious purposes. We need to be sure that you're actually traveling out. And so we'll be needing that unconditional offer that you've gotten from your school. So upon providing all of these things, we open the account for you. You yourself can also verify that truthfully this account is yours. Then we proceed to you paying the upfront fee. Upfront fee being that we charge you for this amount. So if upon calculation, the required amount that's supposed to be in your account is 10 million naira, we charge you a particular percentage for this amount, after which when you pay this interest fee, we credit that account that has been opened for you in your name with any of the choice banks that we have a partnership with, that same amount. So after crediting you with the 10 million naira, it doesn't just end there, because the most important part of this thing is that we want to be glad that you have a success story. So we are not just going to be putting the money in your account and that's all. We want to be sure that you enhance your chances. So upon putting that amount there, the account can still be run by you. What that means is that we are just going to be putting a lien or a hold on that amount. What that means is that 10 million naira is what is not going to be accessible to you. If you put in your own money, you would be able to remove your own money. So if maybe after putting the 10 million naira, you put in 10,000 naira today, the next day you can remove that 10,000 naira. That's what we mean by old funds, and that is one of the unique features that our company possesses, making sure that you are able to run that account and it doesn't look suspicious to the UKVI, whereby if you're not able to run it, the only transaction that is going to be in that account would just be that money that we kept in there. It's going to be suspicious, and you can trust me, you are most likely going to be denied a visa. You might even most likely be denied a CAS. But the fact is that we realized this and we solved that problem by making sure that all we do is just put in a lien on that amount. You are also able to run that account, making sure that you do transactions maybe 2-3 times in a week, such that at the end of the first month, that is at the end of the 28 days, you would have been able to do a lot of transactions on that account, making it look legit and less susceptible to the UKVI. You get me? So that is one of those things that we do, and basically that is how proof of funds is about. We are not limited to the amounts that we offer students. That is, if you're traveling with your family, maybe a family of 2, a family of 3, those ones will require a higher amount. So probably you're going with your dependents, your spouse, with a child, then definitely the amount that's going to be expected of you is going to be maybe between 20 to 30 million naira. You can rest assured that we will also be able to give you that amount of money. So we do not have a limit to the amount of money that we can credit. I believe this summarizes basically all what proof of funds is about. And I'm also still here to answer any question of yours. Thank you very much once again.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Tami. A quick one, and I want to chip in something that I think is very, very factor for people that actually doing prayer, and it's actually common. We're common with people doing prayer. Please, if you have an amount of money in your account, maybe 10 to 15 million, and normally for UK, this is for POF, for UK precisely, you're expected to leave the money for 28 days, 28 days max. And unlike Canada, that you need to have the money in your account to 3 to 4 months max. So for students, most of them made this mistake of remove the money when the school or the embassy have not yet confirmed that the money is actually in that account. We have major problem with that. That later on, when the school or embassy want to confirm that the money is in the bank, the student have already removed the money in the bank, and it's be a major bottleneck, major problem. So these are the major bottleneck we do have, and they start coming back to us that please, oh God, please can you put the money there and all that. So it's best for you to make sure that the school respond the bank responds to the school that the money is there and this customer is actually our customer and all of that before you remove the money in your account. Because this I didn't have a customer recently that same issue happened and she lost a visa. She lost it because at the time she had removed the money when the school was asking question or whatever was from the bank, they found out that the money was not in the bank anymore, so they had to decline it. So these are the major problem we do have, and I just feel that I just chip in that into the presentation, and that was actually nice. Thank you for that. And I think you should, if there's any question, and try and drop a question. Thank you very much. I think that'll be helpful.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fidelis. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your presentation and that of your partner. We are indeed grateful. So next, we are on live chat with participants, Q&A. So if you have any questions, we would like to take them right now. So do we have any questions on deposit payment, Form A, Visa payment, IHS payment, proof of funds? Please bring in your questions. The facilitators are here to answer all of your questions. Well, if I don't see, I would begin to call names. So, oh, okay. Someone is asking, Afam said, what is the percentage for proof of funds? That question is to Mr. Fidelis or his partner.
Okay. For we do 4% for the rate, 4%. Yeah, for 30 days. Sorry, 4% for 30 days.
4% for 30 days.
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Afam is also asking, do you also assist with PTA? Mr. Fidelis.
Okay, for the PTA part, no, we don't. And we'll also be dropping our contact details too, such that if anybody would need more questions that probably you forgot to ask during this session, you could also reach out to us to do that.
All right, thank you, sir. I can see Adetola Onuga is raising up his or her hands. So please speak.
Yeah, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Yeah, my question goes to Mr. Fidelis. He mentioned 4% for 30 days. Is it possible because you said something about upfront? I'm not clear about that. Is it the 4% on that upfront? Can you break it down? Let me understand. If possible, put a number to it.
Okay. Thank you very much for your question, Adetola Wonuga. Now, if I'm going to use the practical, now 4% of 10 million naira is 400,000 naira. So that 400,000 naira represents the interest rate that is payable upfront. So that means you need 10 million naira in your account. You would pay us 400,000 naira to credit you 10 million naira that would be in your account for a month. That is 30 days. That is what that means. I believe that answers that.
Madam Adetola, did you answer your question?
Yes, is that the same upfront you're talking about?
Yes, please.
Okay. So that 4% belongs to the complaint, to your own complaint.
Exactly.
Okay. To get the proof of fund.
Yes,
ma'am. Okay. Okay. And you also mentioned something that with that you can also put your own personal money in the account.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Adetola, for your questions.
I'm sorry for the facilitator. I'm sorry to the host. I have a question for the first speaker. I think the person that talked about Form A, he wasn't really clear about his bank. I didn't get the details. Maybe it would be good for you to share the details with us. for the person that spoke about the Form A, the first speaker.
All right,
on
thank you
Form
very
A, he
much. My
mentioned
name is
that-
Adetunji, like I told you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
My bank is First City Monument Bank, FCMB.
Okay, FCMB.
FCMB,
Okay.
yeah. So that's my bank. And like I mentioned, we process Form A for our customers. Only customers who have had account with us, they more or less are the ones that find it easier to get. Non-customers will not be able to get Form A process because, of course, there are lots of demand from the existing customers anyways. And that's why that is not. So most banks will prefer that you have opened account with them for a minimum of 6 months before you can even come with such.
Okay. Okay, all right. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Fidelis. Thank you, Adetola, for your questions. Nimat, please, I'm coming. I would come to you very soon. I would like if Mr. Lamidi can answer this question about PTA, where Afam asked if he can assist, if he can get help with PTA. Mr. Lamidi, could you please answer that?
Yes, of course. I think PTA is possible from the bank. And I'm sure that at least customers of the bank have been receiving PTA, which is a personal travel allowance, at least, But what is critical is you get PTA based on certain conditions. Now, condition one is you had applied at least, maybe about 6 weeks before your travel, maybe 6 weeks or 2 months before travel, because everything is now on a queue basis, because a lot of demands are coming from lots of customers. So banks will always want to ensure that they position everything on first come, first serve. So you can't be traveling next week and you want PTA this week. They will not even answer. Even me, as a staff of the bank, I must have informed them about 2 months before to say, okay, well, this is my ticket, this is my visa, and my travel date is so. I want to process my PTA. So they'll put me on the queue. And then when the time comes, I'll be able to get. So they always give an average of about 8 weeks, for customers. And also the second point is also the fact that you are an existing customer. Most accounts is funded. You can't be a customer with a dormant account and you want a PT and you just want to move money in there. They won't answer you. They will give privilege to someone who probably has been a very, very active, account holder, whose account has always been funded, and then he can now do transactions through them. All those conditions do come in. Thank you very much. Hope I'm able to answer that question.
Thank you, Mr. Lamidi. Okay. Nimat, your hand is up. Could you please speak?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My question goes to Mr. Fidelis, proof of fund. He made mention of some banks that you can open an account with the savings account with them. But my own account I'm using is a GTB. But I didn't hear him talking about GTB. Is GTB among the bank that you can open an account with? Or you need to open an account, freshly account. So for me, I have an account with GTB. So that means that I need to open a new account before I can get the access to the proof of fund. That's my question. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Nimwat, for your question. Like each and every one of us know, we have over 20 banks in Nigeria, 20 commercial banks. So it's actually going to be unrealistic for us to have a partnership with all of those banks. You get me? But I would acknowledge that we have some very key banks in Nigeria that almost everybody, 1 out of 3 people do have an account with, some of which includes GT, Access, Zenith, UBA, like that. You get me? Presently, we are still in the works of having a partnership with GT Bank. So that was the reason why I did not make mention of GT Bank earlier in my presentation, because we do not have a recognized sort of partnership with them. So as it is now, we wouldn't be able to credit your existing GT account for security purposes of our funds. So if you would be needing the proof of fund services, our best advice for you would be to make use of any of these other banks that we do have a partnership with and create an account with them. I hope that explains and gives an answer to your question.
Fine, but can you kindly list the banks that you want me to have you want us to have an account with, so that someone can start the process?
We do have partnership with 1, Wima Bank, 2, Providus, 3, Santos, 4, Globus.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a nice day.
So quick one. Let me see, chip in one of the things. And also for existing accounts, the main reason most people don't form existing accounts, which is a bottleneck we have then, is because most time these are the problems we do have from experience. Most times when we fund an existing account, and the embassy actually call to ask some question, because your account officer does not know what you are doing. Most of the people I have, customer I have, but doesn't even know the account officer. They don't know the account officer. They don't even know who is the account. Most time when they send message, nobody responds to it, and it becomes a problem. So the reason for us to create a new account for you, one, the bank we are using, we are partnered with them, and they know what you're doing. Immediately we send your form to them, they know this one is for POF, and they know how to relate with these people. They know what they want. So it's not about we opening an account for you. We'll go beyond account opening for you. We'll make sure that you get your visa. I think my colleague has explained that. So any question that's been asked from the school or the embassy, they'll be the one to answer it for, because they are your account officer. They know what you're doing. You get it. They know what you're doing. So they'll be the ones to just do everything for you. All you need to just to relax and let them be the ones to answer your question. So as my colleague said, these banks we partner with, they opening a new account for them will not be a problem, because I think for UK, as I said earlier, or for pre-oil, what I want to see in your account is that you can take care of yourself over there. You understand? You actually you have the financial to take care of us. So that's the main reason for that POF. You get it. So opening your account for you is actually not a problem. And as I said earlier, you can transact on the account. You can just don't make a little demand that you can just put like 5,000 naira, 2,000 naira, remove it and also put it back during the period between that period. I think I will answer the question. Thank you.
I'm sorry to ask again. Assuming I want to open it today, or let's say by next week, how can I go about it? Can I go to the bank now and open the account, or you are going to be the one to open the account for me?
Okay, for that, yeah, Fidelis, you can go on, please.
Okay, for that, there's no need for you. All we need to do, we just send you the forms. You fill the forms. Because as I said earlier, we partner with some branches, like as I said, like Globus Bank, Wema Bank, SunTrust Bank, and Asset. And we partner with those particular branches. So what you need to do is just to fill the forms, send it back to us, and we will send it to them for account opening. You understand? In the very so that we need someone to monitor our funds. First of all, you understand? Someone needs to monitor the funds that we account, and someone needs to reply the bank anytime they want to ask some message. Most of the bank do reply for the letterhead, like a reference. Sorry, it's called a reference letter.
Okay.
They do ask for a reference that shows that this customer is actually the bank customer is actually this and all that. So these are the major role this bank play for the partner with. You understand? So that's the main
Yes, I
reason for
do.
that.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very
So,
much. That means at the end of the seminar, I will need to get your contact,
no
because Access
problem.
Bank is closer to me.
No problem.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Is Adestola still raising up her hand?
So, yes, thank you. Yes, I want to find out from the lesson today, I've learned of three major things that has to do with Form A, visa payments, and proof of fund. But I want to get a clarification that has to do with the visa payment. Now, using card, Mr. Olabode said something about using your payment card through credit card. If you have a normal credit card that you have, maybe with GTB, can you make payment with that? Or if you have a DOM account, can you transfer to your school, make your payments directly to the bank? Or what's the benefit of having someone like Mr. Olabode to come in to rescue when it comes to when help is needed? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the question. Um, as I said earlier, some bank cards actually don't allow you to make such payments. So, for example, I think GTB you can only pay about £20 per month using your card. Some banks is it £20 or $20? Sorry. For some banks, it's actually about $10, which is why I said at times what we do is we contact people offshore who maybe they need naira at home, and then they would use their cards to make the payment. And then for those of us, I mean, prospective students that have people abroad as well, you could, just call your relation, your friend, or whoever is over there to help you with it. But where you don't have such available to you, if you contact us, we would help you with that. And we'll typically just apply the same rates that you would get on in the unofficial market for you. Does that answer
Okay,
your question?
so what rate will you now use? Yes,
That's
still
the
on the
honor.
matter, Mr. Labode. So what rate are you now going to use and what percentage, what discount? Is it the black market rate you are going to use or?
Yes, that's what you call it. That's the unofficial market. Because it's not going to be, if you, so for example, if you just call anybody up, if you have a friend or someone abroad and you tell them you need funds over there, they are not going to change it for you at the parallel market, which is the CBN rate, because they know that if you go on the streets, you understand, the forces of market and demand will um, charge you higher for those same funds, whether it's dollars, whether it's euro, Canadian or pound sterling. So where we come in is we try and link you up either with people offshore that have such cards to make payments. And even right here in Nigeria, there are people that have, maybe they've traveled overseas before, so they've opened an account. And actually, there are banks that actually allow you to open an account from here overseas. But you always have to remember that they would ask for your tax ID, which means that any funds coming in there, you have to be able to clarify exactly what the funds are for, because they expect you to pay your taxes uh, on all those funds that come into the account. Yep.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Labode. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, Afam, your hand is up. Could you please speak? Afam. Oh, okay.
Sorry.
While we wait.
Hello.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Afam
Good
is back.
morning. Yeah. So sorry. I just want to ask a few questions. First one is, can I actually withdraw the money I paid?
Afam.
Yeah.
Afam, your background is noisy. We can barely hear you.
Yeah, I'm actually in a place where in an open office. That's why. Okay. No problem. So let me go somewhere else. So is it fine now?
Much better.
Okay, thanks. So I want to ask a question. I said, can I withdraw the money? You know, when they pay the POF, that's the proof of funds, let's say 10 million. So, you know, you advise that within that 28 days of waiting, we need to be putting some money in and out. So I want to ask, is it possible that I withdraw from the money that I pay in within that period, that 28 of waiting? I don't know if you understand. Or is it that the account, there's a restriction that you cannot withdraw? I know it's sorry, I know it's late now. If I don't know if you got the question.
Yes, we got your question. Mr. Fidelis would answer that.
Okay, yeah, I think we have answered it before. Yes, Mr. What's the name again? Yeah, we can actually withdraw from the account. As I said earlier, you can put in your own money. Like I said, you can put in like 10,000 or 5, depends how much you want to put in your account, and you also withdraw from it. You understand? But you can't touch our phone because we're going to place a lien on our money to enable you transact on your account. During the 28 days, the money will be in your account for 30 days. You understand?
Okay, yeah, thanks. That answers my question. So the second one is, okay, let's say if I want to pay in now, I pay in, let's say maybe I just did like 4 transactions and the money is like, let's say within the 28 days, maybe 5,000, 2,000, 1,000. Does it look okay, or does it still look suspicious? Like, I don't know if you get me, you know, they have to check the account, is it active, the in and out. So I don't know if such transactions, if it's advisable.
Okay. So okay. The main thing for it is to make sure that the account has life, put a line into the account, you understand? And that's the reason of you transacting on that account also. So as I said earlier, during the period, it's not that in a week, might just 2 transactions in a week. You understand? Just 2 or 3 transactions in a week. Like I advise my students, that they should make sure that you don't want to buy cards or you want to do DSTV. You just tell your mother, let me do DSTV payments and all those stuff you normally do with your mobile app. You understand? So so not the main is not just make the account look that dormant. So look it's like, because I've seen people be rejected even with using top bank like Access Bank because they didn't transact in their account. It's not even about using big banks or using top banks. It's about you making sure that their bank is active. You understand? No matter how small the money is, you understand? Even though it's 5 million you want to doing, or just make sure that you are making sure that your account is actually very busy a little bit. Thank you. I think I've answered the question.
Yes, you did.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Fidelis. Thank you, Afam, for asking your questions. Okay, so we have questions here from Kehinde Olugbemi. Okay, I would like to scroll up. Let me see. Okay, she said, what is the lowest rate for percentage interest from these banks?
Okay. So for the rate, I think the cost of fund right now is very, very, very high, and it's not easy to actually get this money you're saying. So it's actually the same rate we are using because if the person is doing like let's say, I can say I can ask for a certain for to reduce to 3.5 if it's from 20 upward, because at the stand banks we actually using one of the top banks, and this week I think I was with my boss, and when I saw that this was going to increase their rate, my boss was saying that we need to increase our rate to 4.5. But I'm just saying that no, boss, this people, I don't think I can afford it. So me going back and saying that we should reduce the rate, it might not be that point, but it's still 4%, unless you're doing from 20 upward. I think I'm done. Answer your
Okay,
question.
can they get that?
No, I didn't, because it wasn't very clear with it. I can't really pick anything from what he said. Maybe it's
No,
network.
I said,
didn't get him.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, I said we do 4%. 4%, because the main reason for that is because the cost of fund right now is very, very high to get this fund. And what this bank actually knows currently is very, very high for every money they do put in customer accounts. You understand? And no one is going to do a business that they can't profit from it. You understand? And that's why we're doing that 4%. And we haven't thinking of increasing it, but I just have to take my thoughts that for now, let us try to see how we can keep it to that 4%. You understand? So it's for now, it's still 4%. But as I said, but if you are doing for 20 million upward, I can say I can reduce 3.5 for the person, because we have some people that normally go with their children and go with the family, and what is expected for them to bring most time is kind of very high, like 30, 20. I've so many customers that they're traveling, that they want to take their children, their wife along with them. So the amount they ask for is very big, like from 20, 30 upward. So in that cases, we might want to do reduce the rate for them. I hope you understand what I mean. Hello, can you hear me?
Candy, did you get that?
Yes, it's
Andy, did you
clear.
get that? Okay.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Oh, okay, so she asked another question in the chat. I'm not sure that has been answered. She said, can I use Form A for the second installment of school fees payment while already arriving in the school? Mr. Lamidi, could you please answer that for us? Oh, okay.
Hello, this is Mr. Folayo. You should be able to, but what you can also do is to talk to your account officer. But typically, you should be able to. I know there are limits to how much the banks can give you access to regarding your tuition. But as long as you've not exceeded the limit over the period of your education or your program over there, they would always give you access to those funds. So you should actually be able to. I don't know the amount you've already accessed, but if it's still below, I think 20K, I think for GTB is about 20K. You should still be able to get more from them. But if the bankers on the call are still here, they should please shed more light as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Labode. Does Fidelis have any answer for us, please? Mr. Fidelis?
Yeah?
Do you have any addition to what Mr. Labode just said?
No.
Okay. Mr. Lamidi is back.
Yeah, so sorry, I dropped to join another meeting. Sorry. Okay. Do you have any question for me? Yeah.
Yes, although Mr. Labode answered, but would like if you would add more to what he said. So can they ask? She said, can I use Form A for the second installment of school fees payment while already arriving the school?
Yeah. Second installments to school fees payment. Yes, I think so. You can. For as long as you're on admission, you can actually use Form A. You understand? Which means that on an annual basis that you are going to be paying your school fees, Form A can actually be processed towards that school fees payment. You understand? I do same for my children. So I use Form A. That's what has been assisting me to actually process their school fees. So it's doable, it's possible. So far, you have good relationship with your bank. And at least, you either your sponsor has an account that is functional and is funded. But I can always say it depends on the timing, and it also depends on how quick you are able to process. There are times we would have submitted 2 months before time. For me to pay the school fees of this September, I'd actually processed since July. Even me as a staff of the bank, I have to tell my children to say, okay, make sure you get me your school fees document and send it immediately, even while on holiday, so that I know I can be able to queue. Otherwise, I'll go to black market to go and source for money. So those are the processes that even, students and their sponsors don't really monitor and gauge very well. While they run into trouble, there are times they would have forgotten that, this money is very key. They would have submitted all the process before they now start looking around to go and talk to banks. And banks will not listen, because already people are already on queues now that have been there for 2 months. So they can't now jump queue. Even if you are the son of MD, they'll tell you, sorry, it's a policy thing. Go and join the queue. I hope that addresses the question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Kendi, was your question answered? Kendi, was your question answered?
Yes, clearly. Thanks.
Oh, thank you. Okay, then Kendi asked another question. He said, do you have contact where we could buy dollar at a rate close to the bank rate? I don't know who's going to answer that. I think Mr. Lamidi will be able to answer that.
No, nobody has that contact, though. Even as a rule, it's even against the CBN policy that anybody is buying, black market forex. They must not know. There's a recent, declaration by the CBN governor that nobody should use naira to buy dollar. So those are a no-go area. Everybody just try to source for whatever he can. The essence of thing is that anything you need money, go to your bank. Whatever is doable, they will tell you. Whatever is not doable, they'll tell you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I heard you say that once you have good relationship with your bank, what does that English mean? What does it mean to have good relationship?
Yes. What it means, number one, is that, you have an operational account that you are funding. You are not just a kind of a customer of a bank that keeps money today, withdraw all the money,
so they will not be available. So Monday
and take the money away, because the bank will want to consider you as a customer as worthy when you have deposit with them and your account is not dormant. But if you have a dormant account today and you now go and reactivate the account all because of this purpose, I will not consider you as my customer. I will consider those that have been there in the last 3-4 years and they are funding the account and all their transactions are being done via the account. Don't forget, all of us bankers or all banks, we are more or less chasing the same pockets. So it is the customer that actually more or less consider me worthy as a partner that I'm also going to be there for. Yoruba will say, because you've always been dependable as a customer to me by ensuring that all your funding activities, transaction goes through my bank. So if you now need me, I'll say this is my number one customer, I must take care of his needs. I will do everything, bend myself backwards to serve you or that. Hello, sorry.
Mr.
Hello.
Lamidi, yes, you're back now. We lost you for some
Yes,
seconds.
miss. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes,
lost you.
sorry, a call was trying to come into my phone. Yeah, so I was saying that, so not someone who probably had been away for the past 1 year and the account has been dormant and he now quickly went to source for money, put in the account and come back. For that person, they may not treat it. They may say, sorry, madam, the queue is over, or you have to wait or to a certain period of time. So that was what I meant by that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lamidi. Do we have any other questions? Oh, okay, I think I would ask my own question. You mentioned that there was a policy to discourage buying at black market rates, that everybody should go to the bank. But there is also another policy that says Form A will be scrapped by, I think, September or
Yeah, I
something
think I
like that.
heard that too. Yeah.
Yeah, is it true?
I think that is not very clear. Different because of the shortages of dollars. Generally, if you look at even what is happening within the aviation industry, now Emirates has moved their traffic away from Nigeria because government has actually been owing them. They are not able to repatriate all their dollar fund back to their country in Dubai. So because of that, they stop flying into Nigeria. So similarly, this is affecting almost every sphere of the economy. And that's where there's been a lot of speculative statements from different banks to bank. It still does not mean that CBN has actually come up with any directive that they are going to stop this for mail. But banks are now deliberately more or less trying to use that to gauge their demand or the influx of people to them to say, sorry, by September, I may not be able to offer you this request. I've also asked even our treasury, who are the people that will know, but there hasn't been any circular from CBN to say they are stopping by September. There's not been any circular to that effect. If it's available, maybe I'm not aware of it. But at least I know that for sure banks are trying to, and that is what even affects what banks even tolerate in the area of amount. Some banks will tell their customer to say, okay, I cannot be able to offer you more than $10,000. Some will say you can buy up to $15,000. Similarly, for upkeep allowance, some banks will say $1,500. Some banks will say you can buy up to $3,000. So it all depends on the availability of dollars, that's available for them. Because while they are catering for Form A for the students' school fees payment, they're also catering for their traders who wants to do some other Form M, who wants to do some other, foreign transaction to their partners abroad to bring on goods and services. So that's why at least it's a kind of chicken and egg situation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lamidi. Do we have any other questions?
Yes, because I also had that even if you have dollar in your DOM account, sometimes you could walk into the bank that you wanted this money and they tell you that they don't have funds available. How true is this? And in that situation, what if you want to now do a transaction from that account? Would it still not be made available because they don't have foreign currencies in the bank?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, it's possible. In that instance, what they do tell their customer or our customer is to say, okay, if you want, maybe assuming you want up to $20,000 from your DOM account, they may tell you, okay, well, this money is not available by now. You can come back in the afternoon, because they have to make requests to head office to say, okay, we have a customer that has made this demand, though. So allocation that comes from CBN, they will now earmark it for that branch to say, okay, please allocate $20,000 to bank A, where Tunji Lamidi is working, because a customer of Tunji has already made a request this morning. They may say, come back tomorrow morning to pick it up. There are some, they will say, okay, sorry, there's a kind of scarcity of dollars coming from CBN throughout that week. So you can come back maybe 3 days time or 4 days time. I've seen that happening, but it does not necessarily mean that you won't have access to your money. It's just that it may not come immediately. You walk in to go and collect, because branches or banks are not keeping these dollars. They depend on head office to actually fund them, because don't forget, dollars are not Nigerian currency. So it's only more or less, placed in care, and then it's sent to those branches where at least demands are sent. So that basically it is. Thank you.
Okay, one other question that I have before we go is okay,
Yes,
so the other question, sorry about that. The other question I wanted to ask is, how do you use the dollar debit card to pay? Do you need a token, or can you make the payment directly from your dollar card?
Yeah, I think
or
you can make
anywhere?
it. Yeah, anywhere in the world, you know, you can make a payment directly in from your dollar card, because your dollar card is like your credit card, Abby. So
Yeah.
and you should be able to make payments. You know, like I use my credit card anywhere in the world. I don't need, except I've already set a permission or approval to my bank to say, okay, please, I'll be traveling. Oh, don't allow my cards to be used anywhere unless I inform you 24 hours to my travel. But right now, without that, you should be able to do that. The only thing you see is that you receive an alert that will tell you, okay, there's a transaction that has been consummated. If you have any issue with it, please quickly contact your bank. There are some messages like that is sent to you. But of course, you can be able to use your dollar card to make payments.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lamidi. Do we have any other questions? Do we have any other questions? Okay. Gone. So it seems we don't have any other questions. And at this point, we'll be rounding up. And TEC.
Sorry, host. Sorry, host. I'm sorry to interrupt. I was unable to minimize my page then. My question is that how do we get the contact of these people? Are you going to share with us so that we can ask for? Okay. All right.
Yes, we will.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is that all?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So that's all. Yeah, so we are indeed grateful to Mr. Fidelis and his colleague. We are indeed grateful to Mr. Adetunji Lamidi. We are grateful to Mr. Olabode. Thank you so much for joining us on this payment seminar to attend to our participants' questions. And we are also grateful to every participant. Your questions really made the session interactive. Like, we wouldn't have done this wouldn't have been successful if you didn't ask any questions for the chat, for the raising of hands. Everyone had one question or the other, and it was really interactive. We are very, very, very grateful. And we look forward to seeing you in our other programs. And once this meeting ends, there would be a survey which you would have to fill. It's a very, very short form. So please fill the survey and we would be in contact with you after this meeting. Yes, we won't forget to share our contact. And most importantly, please do not forget to go to our social media handles at Trusted Edge on Instagram, on Facebook. Please share, like, comment on our posts, and we look forward to you subscribing to our all other programs. And at this point, I would like to bring the meeting to an end. Thank you so much once again. We're indeed grateful for your participation and for being with us, for asking your questions. We do not take it for granted, and we look forward to seeing you in other sessions. Thank you so much. Please do have a great day and enjoy the rest of your week.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you.